Back in 2014, my husband and I went on our honeymoon to Morocco. We were there for a full month and we absolutely loved it. Every morning, our riad would offer us breakfast, and every morning, this delicious, buttery layered crepe, or m'semen, was offered. It was a lot like an Indian paratha. We ate m'semen with honey or jam along with mint tea, but here I really enjoy it with a little bit of maple syrup. Here's my sourdough version. Now, I used peak starter because I didn't want an overpowering sour. Plus, there's very little leavening actually going on in this recipe, so this is primarily a way to use fresh discard. Start by adding 265 grams of all-purpose flour to a medium bowl. To that, add 325 grams of fine semolina, 20 grams of sugar, 8 grams of salt.
Yeah, you pulled it out. I don't know what happened to it.
345 grams of water, and finally 180 grams of peaked sourdough starter. This entire recipe is mixed, kneaded, and shaped by hand, so be prepared to get your hands dirty. Knead the dough for about 10 minutes. I like to take it out of the bowl and knead it on the counter because there's a little bit more space to move around. The dough should be smooth and elastic. Transfer the dough back into the medium-sized bowl and let it rest for 30 minutes to an hour. You'll want to have ready a small bowl of a neutral oil to help with shaping. Divide the dough into 12 even pieces. They should each be around 94 grams, and while you can't see it, I did actually use a scale to measure the size of each ball. Once you've shaped all the balls, put a little bit of oil on top to prevent a skin from forming. Cover the dough and let it rest for 20 to 30 minutes. While the dough is resting, you'll want to prepare the other ingredients. Melt 40 grams of butter and add to that 40 grams of oil. You should have a small bowl of semolina flour ready for the shaping process. Coat the dough and your fingers in the butter and oil mixture. Using your fingers, gently coax the dough from the middle outwards into an 11 by 11 inch square, dipping your fingers in the butter oil mixture as needed. You can tell that the dough that I'm working with perhaps didn't have enough time to relax in between shaping. If you don't want the dough to pull back as much, let the dough rest another 20 minutes or so. You can see that I did get a tiny tear. You really want to try to avoid this when possible. Try to get it as thin as possible without tearing it. Applying more of the butter oil mixture to your fingers should help to prevent this. Fold the dough in thirds, like a letter. Every time you fold it, make sure to add some more of the butter oil mixture and a little bit of the semolina. It'll help to distinguish between the layers. And fold it in thirds again, this time going in the other direction to make a square. Now shape the rest of the dough balls. This whole process probably took me about 40 minutes. At this point, you could certainly let your dough rest another 30 minutes, but seeing as I was pretty impatient, I went ahead with shaping and pressed out the first square. Using your fingers again, press it out to an 8 by 8 inch square. Of course, making sure that your hands are well lubricated with the butter oil mixture. Set that square aside and shape the rest. You can certainly put parchment in between each m'semen, but given how much butter and oil was used, you shouldn't be too concerned about sticking. Might have made the process just a little bit easier, but it wasn't worth the effort in my mind. Heat up the cast iron pan on medium and melt a small amount of butter. Cook the m'semen for a total of around 5 minutes, flipping it once or twice. Now, these were an immediate household hit. I made them yesterday, and we have one left. They are perfect for breakfast, to go with an afternoon tea, or honestly, they're delicious as a dessert too. And now I'm kind of wishing I tried it with Nutella. Okay, seriously though, look at that flaky goodness. Oh, there comes a hand. I hope you enjoy the m'semen as much as we do. And if you do, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel.